Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the British Tier 10 heavy tank, the FV215b. Now this tank was recently buffed. Well, I say recently, it was a couple of reforged ago. It was in the big blitzkrieg of changes that they did, one where they did like all the different tanks. I've seen people say, why didn't they buff the FV215b if they were buffing the Chieftain? Well, they did. They buffed this tank, and honestly, the tank is definitely a lot nicer to play now. I was never a fan of the tank. I always preferred the Chieftain, because the Chieftain's a lot of fun to play, and that tank's been buffed, and that tank's really nice as well now, even nicer than it was before. And the Super Conqueror did the same job as this tank, but even better, and the Super Conqueror still does the same job as this tank, just as well. Yeah, just as well. And the buffs that they gave this tank made it really nice, like I say, really nice, but one of the key aspects that I really wanted to change in didn't really receive any love, and it's still a bit of a problem for the tank. So, with that being said, what did they buff on the tank? Well, they buffed the turret rotation speed from 34 to 36, the reload time from 8.7 to 8.5, the aim time from 1.7 to 1.5, the accuracy during turret rotation from 0.08 to 0.06, health burn per second, so basically when you get set on fire, which happens a lot by the way, from 195 to 176. The lower glacis armor went from 76 to 101, which is not that significant really. I mean, it's still butter, it's still going to get penned. The lower side hull side armor went from 50 to 101. The side skirt armor also went from 6mm to 20mm, as well as them buffing the commander's hatch from 152 to 203. So basically the commander's hatch is going to be a lot harder to pen. The whole side armor is where I feel like they didn't do what they needed to, and that's because they have actually made obviously the side skirt armors thicker, so it's a little bit harder to pen. It makes it better spaced armor. They also obviously buffed the lower side armor as well, which does help it a little bit with the thing that it should be good at, and that is side scraping. Does mean you bounce quite a lot more when you are side scraping, like you should, well, like the tank really kind of wants you to. But they didn't get rid of the cheek armor, and you might be going, what do you mean the cheek armor? Well, below the turret there is some little cheeks that are in the side armor, and just below the turret that's quite visible, and they're really easy to pen for tier 10s. Really easy, really easy. And that means that even if you try to side scrape, you'll just get penned there all the time, and it's really irritating. And I'll say really even more, bye pest control at your service. Anyway, yeah, so you're still going to get penned even when you're side scraping. Those cheeks really need to be buffed to the same level. It really just needed the same side armor as the Super Conqueror, because the Super Conqueror side scrapes 100% better than this tank does, and that's not right. So they didn't really address that, unfortunately. Those cheeks still exist, and we didn't get the Super Conqueror side armor. You can see what they were trying. They were trying to fix that problem with giving it the side armor, extra side armor, and the spaced armor, but it didn't quite happen, unfortunately. But the rest of the changes make the gun more snappy. It gives it slightly better DPM. It actually makes it the best DPM out of all three heavy tanks at British. And it's just, to be honest, it has made the tank really quite nice, because the gun is just infallible. It's absolutely brilliant. The DPM's great. The aim time and all that is just great. So, in this game, we have pushed quite aggressively on El Alamein. I made the wrong decision there. I should have killed the T-34. Fortunately enough for me, the CS63 does manage to shut down the T-34 Black. Now, I went in on these two, right? And I'll explain my thought process here, as I actually get lucky here that the Leopard helped me. I was going to die to that 277 very easily then. He had the Alpha, he was going to finish me, but thankfully the hero run from the Leopard said, "Get down, Mr. President," and he saved me. So my thinking there was, in that entire run-up, if you scoot back over that, in that entire run-up, only one heavy tank got spotted at F3. Only one. Or so it would seem. And that was the fact that only one was getting spotted at a time at F3 in that little corner. And that meant that when I was looking at it, and I made the decision, I thought, well, there's only a T-30, because I'd seen the heavy tank was a T-34 Black. I thought, there's only a T-34 Black down there. I'm going to push up behind that T-34 Black, and I'm going to go finish him off, because I'll fire 3 shells for everyone he fires. His reload is not very good, mine's incredible. And unfortunately, when I went down there, I found the T-34 black, but then I also spotted the 277, and it was like, oh, there's 2 people here. Ah. Okay, this is awkward. And fortunately enough for me, I did have help from my friends who realised that I'd gone in, distracted them both, and it won us that flank, which is quite nice, but I lost most of my health doing it, and I did get incredibly lucky. So we're actually just pushing now to try and spot the guys that are heading towards our cap, because most of their team that was left is on this 789 line. And I want to spot it because we've got 2 TDs and a heavy tank on the K line. And if I spot that, I'm going to get a ton of assisted, especially if I spot anything that's trying to attack the base. I did hesitate a little bit earlier trying to go up the hill to F4 because I thought I might take the safer route. But I thought, no, actually, I'm going to take the more aggressive route and try and just spot them. We spotted this Type 5 heavy. He's in a position where I can just fight. Well, all I've got left is APCR, so we can go straight through the front of his turret most times. And I'm thinking I can probably take a hit from this guy. I forget that he's probably got derp gun, and he does actually do like 200 damage to me. That could have been far worse. When I'm playing the Type 5 heavy and I'm using the derp gun, I've splashed people for like 500 easily. And we spot this T95E6 is trying to get round behind us, and we don't want that. So we're going to start to rip off this rock. We're going to wait for him to come round, and we finish him off. We're up to 5k damage, 3.6k assist. There's 1 TD left. He's at A5, and we're going to try and run for it, but there is a medium tank over there, and the possibility of us getting over there to get some damage, highly unlikely. But yeah, this tank, obviously, since it got its changes, it's you know, it's pretty nice. It is a lot more bearable for me personally to use. I never liked the FV215b because one of its big problems is it gets set on fire all the time, and it just was nowhere near as good as a Super Conqueror. And unfortunately, it's still just in that painful position. So we finished with the Ace Tanker, the Steel Wall, the 1671 base XP, 5k damage, 3.6k assist. That's like 8.7k combined. A really nice game for the FV215b there on El Alamein. And yeah, we're on the second game, and we're on Vineyards. And I'm always going to go to the K-line on Vineyards. Rush down there, because it's usually quite lucrative for me, personally, whenever I've done it, to get good damage and good assist. So in terms of the crew setup that I run on this tank, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Track Mechanic, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Situational Awareness, Firefighting, and Smooth Ride. Now I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, obviously because you make the gun 10%, well, you make everything in the tank really sort of around 10% better. You make the DPM 10% better, which is what you want. You want Situational Awareness to make your view range as good as possible. Run and Gun and Steady Aim make the gun even better. We don't run Snapshot because, well, 1.5 second aim time, better turret accuracy on turret traverse and stuff like that. It doesn't need it. It's just incredible as it is. And obviously having Steady Aim just make it 10% better, as well as the Run and Gun. You want those generally on every tank possible. So we actually run Firefighting, because like I say, this tank gets set on fire all of the damn time. And we run Smooth Ride. Now we run Smooth Ride because I run the traction system on this tank, and the traction system gets us up to 37 kilometers an hour. Now in this replay, actually, I think I was using the powertrain, and I thought, no, you know what? If I change the crew around and combine Smooth Ride with traction system, I'll probably hit 37 more often than I will if I'm running the powertrain and running it up to 36 kilometers an hour. Was my thinking, and it does work. We hit 37 quite regularly with the traction system on this tank, which is nice. So yeah, on this tank I do run the rammer, optics, and the traction system, because you get up to 37 kilometers an hour, which is quite nice for this tank. Makes it really quite mobile. Plus you get 10% better track traverse with the traction system, which again for this tank is really, really nice. And to be honest, you could change Smooth Ride out, or you could change Run and Gun out, one of the two, and you could run the fire prevention skill to go with firefighting, because like I say, this tank is just like kerosene. It just burns and burns and burns, and that can be pure pain for this tank, the fact that it gets on fire all of the time, and it's just really annoying. So we've pushed very aggressively. We've come up against this Type 5 heavy, And we'll switch to premium because, well, it's Type 5 heavy. We'll struggle with the AP rounds with only like 168 pen. It's got 275 on its frontal armor. We're never going through it, so we always need premium against this guy. And with the premium rounds, which we don't have the best of compared to a lot of tier 10s with like 340 odd. You know, we have quite low premium pen really, like 320 is it, or less than that. But it still means we can make mincemeat of that poor Type 5 Heavy's armor, and that's what we did. We've now got the side of the Chieftain. We get one shot into him, and we're up to 2.5k damage, 1,000 assist already. We're like 3 minutes in. We get absolutely slapped up by artillery just as we were about to make a move there. Really unfortunate timing, but we get a nice shot into the Lorraine now because we're going to start getting shots at the guys that camp on that little ridge line. And I'm just praying now that I don't get slapped up by artillery again. But the CGC seems to be having problems of his own, which is nice. He gets shot down by our Type 5 Heavy, which is good. But I've got guys behind me, and I've got guys in our base. So the time is now. Let's rush forward and spot their camper hill. Obviously, this map is one of those maps where you advance ridgeline to ridgeline. So we've advanced one ridgeline up, and now we're going to go for the next one. This I-7 gets spotted up. We get a nice shot into him. And now there's a Badger above us, and the Badger could be a bit of a pain because obviously it's got great DPM. So we look for the tracking shot. It goes straight in. And fortunately enough, we're going to keep him pinned. So we're going to track him again. And we're getting all the assistance on this guy. And luckily for us, we get all of that. And we're also, like I say, spotting the IS-7, which means we've managed to get 4.2k assist, which is great. But we're not done. I want to move up and get more spots. I'm greedy for the assist and the damage. I want to keep pushing forward and keep trying to get their tanks lit. We get a nice shot into the 268 version 5, who we've spotted up. We get one into his side and then one into his lower plate. We got fortunate that we bounced him because he could have quite easily finished us off there with 850 alpha. We unfortunately ricochet on the STB-1, which is kind of unfortunate. Now there's a Shah future, and I'm thinking, okay, that guy, I was expecting that guy to just sit and dump his clip into us, if I'm perfectly honest. But fortunately enough, with his 4-second intro clip, he decided to pull back. Now we're looking for a shot at the STB here. We go for his cupola, get the shot straight in because this gun is filthily accurate and he sat still for long enough. And I'm just being wary because, like I say, that Shah future could quite easily just pop up and get a shot into us, but he's not doing it. Get another shot into the STB's cupola there. He gets slapped up by the artillery. And I'm just going to move forward to get myself in position to get another shot at the other guys on our right. But we do get another shot into the Shah, which is great. And now we've put ourselves in a great position to try and get more damage on these guys that are up north. We get one into the side of the 268 version 5. There's only 2 TDs left. There's this 268 version 5 and the other TD behind us. We shut him down. And we're just looking for the next shot on the other 268 version 5. But he's on the other side of this hill and he's got people shooting at him. And unfortunately, we don't quite get it. But we've had a great game here on Vineyards for the FV215b. The newly buffed FV215b, which is pretty damn nice to play. The gun handling's amazing. The DPM's great. And we finish with the Ace Tanker, Sniper Medal, Confederate, the High Caliber. We finish with 6k damage, or 6.1k damage and 5k assist. That's 11k combined, which is really nice for a tier 10 tank. And a really nice game to show off the buffed tank. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!